a mansion worth millions, a family of privilege, and to brothers who shocked the world with an act so brutal it's still debated today. This is the chilling story of the Menendez brothers, the so-called murder mansion case that turned Beverly Hills into a crime scene. On August 20th, 1989, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in America became the site of a gruesome double homicide. José and Kitty Menendez, successful, wealthy, and seemingly living the American dream, were found gunned down inside their Beverly Hills mansion. The killers, their very own sons, Lyle and Erik Menendez. But why greed, fear, abuse, or something far more complex? Tonight we step inside the mansion of murder and unpack one of America's most infamous family crimes. José Menendez was a Cuban immigrant who built his fortune in the entertainment industry. He was tough, controlling, and expected perfection. His wife, Kitty, once an actress, struggled with depression and substance abuse. Together they raised two sons, Lyle and Erik, who on the outside appeared to have it all: wealth, privilege, opportunity. But behind the gates of their Beverly Hills mansion, the story was much darker. Friends described the household as strict, joyless, and filled with tension. José demanded success from his sons. Kitty's instability added more pressure, and the brothers, often seen as spoiled, rich kids, felt trapped between fear of their father and a desire for freedom. On the evening of August 20th, 1989, everything shattered. Inside the mansion, José was sitting in the den, watching television. Kitty was nearby on the couch. Without warning, 21-year-old Lyle and 18-year-old Erik entered, armed with 12-gauge shotguns. At 11:47 p.m., Beverly Hills police received a frantic 911 call. In call, he said, "Somebody killed my parents." When officers arrived, the scene was horrifying. José Menendez had been shot point-blank in the back of the head. Kitty had been shot multiple times, so brutally that one officer later said her body was almost unrecognizable. The mansion, once a symbol of luxury, was now a crime scene of unimaginable. At first, police suspected a mob hit. José had business ties in Hollywood and was known to be aggressive in negotiations. The brutality suggested organized crime. The brothers, Lyle and Erik, were questioned, but not arrested. After all, they were grieving sons. But suspicions grew. Just days after the murders, the brothers began spending extravagantly. Lyle bought a Porsche, expensive watches, and restaurants. Erik hired a personal tennis coach, spending thousands. In the months that followed, their spending spree totaled nearly $700,000. Detectives began to wonder, were these really grieving sons or killers enjoying their inheritance? The breakthrough came not from police, but from a therapist. Erik, overwhelmed by guilt, confessed to his psychologist, Dr. Jerome Mazzillo, that he and Lyle had killed their parents. But Dr. Mazzillo's girlfriend later reported the confession to police, fearing for her own safety. Armed with this knowledge, investigators gathered enough evidence to arrest the brothers in March 1990. The case against them would become one of the most sensational trials of the 1990s. But the defense told a different story. According to them, the murders were not about greed, but survival. The brothers testified that their father, José, had been abusive for years, physically, emotionally, and sexually. They claimed their mother knew, but turned a blind eye. On the night of the murders, they said they believed their parents were planning to kill them. The shootings, they argued, were an act of desperation. The country was divided. Were they victims of a tyrannical household or entitled killers making excuses? The first trial ended in a hung jury, but in the second trial, the judge limited the testimony about abuse. This time, the brothers were convicted of first-degree murder. In 1996, both Lyle and Erik were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Decades later, the Menendez brothers remained behind bars, serving time in separate prisons until 2018, when they were finally reunited after more than 20 years apart. Their case still sparks debate today. Were they cold-blooded killers or broken sons trapped in a cycle of abuse? In recent years, new documentaries and online campaigns have reignited interest in the brothers' claims of abuse, with some calling for a re-examination of their sentences. Whether justice was served or whether a deeper truth remains buried continues to haunt true crime enthusiasts, lawyers, and psych. The Menendez mansion has since been sold, remodeled, and resold again, but its legacy remains tied to one of America's most infamous family tragedies, a place where wealth couldn't buy happiness, and where the line between victim and villain remains blurred. The Menendez brothers remind us that even in the most glamorous places, the darkest secrets can hide behind closed doors.